Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live on a Tuesday. Wasn't feeling too hot yesterday, so I just put the show off till today. And hey to Kitty and Cynthia over here on Instagram, good to see you guys. Can anybody on Facebook give me a sound check as soon as Facebook is rolling with this? Let's see. You never know if Facebook's gonna do what it says it's going to. Yeah, I guess I'm on. Alright, when I see some people hop on there, give me a voice check on Facebook. Glad to have you guys here with me tonight because this is an important subject and it's one that people have a lot of misconception about. Even I thought for a long time there's a misconception about this. So, and we're going to discuss why. Now, I put the question to the Facebook page, I don't know, it was the day before yesterday, on which is harder to get rid of, a human haunting or demonic haunting. And I got a lot of responses to it. But, I would say the ones that voted for a human was more difficult, didn't really give some solid stuff on why the human was harder. The more answers about the demonic and why they would be harder. And you would assume that, hey, Will the Wizard, that the demonic would be more difficult. That's just our assumption. But this occurred to me the other day, and I was watching some, the ghost hunter shows on TV. I watch a few of those just to see what they say and how they handle things. And there were a couple of shows that, even though the priest came in and did everything they could several times, they couldn't get rid of what was there. And the owners of the home were really let down by the priest. And it dawned on me at that point why they couldn't get rid of the entities. And we're going to go through all that this evening. Let me see if anybody's hopped onto Facebook yet. Okay, and I always have to make sure that Facebook puts everything on public because sometimes when you're live streaming with these live stream software, it doesn't. It'll keep it private, which is really difficult. So let's get into some of the comments on that. Now, here's some comments from my Facebook. And I asked the question, which is harder to get rid of, a demonic haunting or a human haunting? And this person says human. Just depends. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of human, but they couldn't give me a reason why. Just that they felt that the human was harder to get rid of. Another person says the demon within self has the strongest power. Our spiritual and divine human foundation must be solid, otherwise our external reality will show you where your cracks are, in my experience. Okay, so now I'm assuming when they say the demon within, whenever you deal with demons, they are clairvoyant and they can connect with your subconscious and see things from your past, and they will often, I think that's what she's meaning by the demon within self, because they'll use memories They will use lies from the past, bad things that you've done from the past, and they'll bring that up. And the reason why they do that is to bring down your faith or knock your faith down a little bit. Because that's the only way that they can have sort of a dominating force over you. Now, what I was looking up was, Jesus demonstrated absolute authority over evil spirits and demons, and they would immediately obey his commands to leave people. Even a demon that identified Jesus as the Son of God and legion of demons that begged him not to torment them were forced to submit to his will. And Jesus confronted the demons directly, but he also gives us authority over the demons through him. Okay? His authority over them is absolute, and he passes that authority on to us, but we have to use our faith in Jesus to confront the demons directly. And that's called the disciples' authority. Jesus also gave his followers authority over demons, and they were able to cast them out in his name. It has to be in his name. However, sometimes they needed to rely on prayer and fasting to overcome certain types of demons, demonstrating that their ability to command demons was linked to their faith and obedience. And so I think that that's what she was meaning, is that your foundation must be solid, otherwise external reality will show you where your cracks are, meaning in dealing with those demons will reveal where your deficits are, but you have to be very, very steadfast. There's another one that says, I have no idea, but I'm going to say human. So they feel that humans are more difficult to eradicate because if it's a human, it must be personal and being done for a reason, meaning the haunting. Not necessarily so. There are lots of hauntings in old buildings, and they're there for a very long time, and it's nothing personal to the person that's trying to move in. It's certainly personal to the spirit that's inhabiting the place as to why they want to stay there. They become pestersome or troublesome, yes. And so here we're going to go into here's the reason why. And it's really, humans are more difficult to eradicate than demons because of one thing, and that is God gave us free will of choice. Now you see, the demons have to respond to Jesus and God, and they are under commandment of Jesus and God, and they have to do what Jesus and God command them in the end. But a human spirit has free will of choice, and they don't have to do anything if they don't want to. And so you can command all day. If they wish not to respond and they wish not to leave, then they're not going to. Let me check for questions here back on the live feed and see. Hey to Melissa, good to see you. And Ina, you guys, if you have any questions, I won't be able to see them on YouTube. I can see the chat on Facebook. So, hey to Yasmin, good to see you. So if you have any questions, put them on the Facebook, because I can't see the ones on YouTube. I am seeing just Yasmin. I know I can tell that there are more people on YouTube, but these streaming services don't interface very well, and I lose a lot of questions, but for the most part, they come through Facebook pretty well. So free will is the philosophical concept that ties this all together. You know, a demon has an obligation to its master to try and tear down the human soul. And I looked up, a few weeks back we had talked about the soulless and how humans can kind of devolve into a soulless type of being. They still have a spirit. And so that's the same for demons. Demons are thought to be soulless, but they have a spirit. So both soulless demons and a soulless human have spirits. And when we say a spirit, that is the guiding energy that animates and controls the body. That's that electromagnetic field, the light web that goes through all your DNA, the movement, kinetic energy. These are all aspects of the spirit. But the soul is strictly the connection to the divine. So a person can degrade themselves through immoral acts over this lifetime or over successive lifetimes to where they don't have a soul. But demons definitely do not have a soul. And I was also looking at and it does say in the stuff that I looked up that demons have a spirit, but not a soul in the sense of a human's eternal soul. So that was interesting. Other views suggest that souls are immortal and that demons are not human derived but spiritual beings such as jinns that never had a human soul. So I'm thinking that demons probably never had a soul, and that a lot of humans are in the process of devolution and are losing their souls. And that's why it's so hard to deal with people today, is because they've lost their empathic connection with other people, and they will often act sort of demonic toward you. Okay, let's see what other things are on here on this. So here's a person that said, I have done both. Humans are usually just stuck and need reassurance to go to the light. Demonic will fight with you. Well, a demonic's purpose is to totally obliterate your connection to God and to tear you down and to destroy. Okay? That's their goal. And they want to be able to ensnare and capture the soul of the person for its negative gain. Because it will have a negative gain with Satan if it is able to have control over a soul. Now, if you bring in a priest and you think that it's a demonic, but it's really not. It's a human, but let's say it's a more evil type of human, because in a lot of literature I was reading, there's a big debate between, is the demon more evil or is the human more evil? And a lot of sources stated that they thought that the human was more evil than the demon, but the demon had original evil. So let's say you've got this situation where you think it's a demon, but it's really not. It's a human spirit. And you bring the priest in and you do all this stuff and nothing happens. Maybe they get 1 day of relief, 1 or 2 days of relief, and then nothing happens. Well, Like this person says, humans are usually just stuck and need reassurance to go to the light. A lot of that is true. Maybe if they had brought a medium in to try to reason with the human spirit before they went big guns with bringing a priest in and thinking it was demonic. All that they really, if you just automatically go for it's a demon and you bring in a priest and it's a human spirit but it's an evil human spirit, what you're going to do is you're going to teach them that they don't have to leave. They don't have to give up any kind of quarternance that they have over the area. And so there's absolutely no getting rid of them at that point. So now this person says that they felt demonic because they're harder to identify, ethereal, and so are beyond our physical reach and do not tire and can communicate with other demons, possibly inviting them to join the attack. That's all true. But they're still under Jesus Christ's authority. So you still have that leverage there, where if it's a human spirit, you don't have any leverage unless you bring in a medium, and the medium is really good at convincing them that it's in their best interest to go on to their future destiny, where other options are waiting and that they don't have to stay in this uncertain evil state that they're in. But you've got to have a really good medium that can communicate really well to do that. Also, there are two other people who said demonic because they can cling to you and attach. A human spirit can attach to you just as easily as a demonic. So they both can cling to you, they both can attach, and they both can be within you. Hey, to Betsy, good to see you. So both are hard to get rid of. Yes, human will keep trying to bug the heck out of you. So will a demonic. Absolutely. Let's see if there's any questions here. Hey to Kathy. Good to see you. Ina says, why do you think that is happening? People losing their souls. Well, there's no obvious repercussion. So first off, there's a lack of belief that there will be any repercussions, and people are being welcomed into immorality and immoral acts on TV. You know, it just is rampant on the internet. And there's no, we're not showing any untoward things that happen to people when they do this act, when they, are horrible to other people, if they have no empathy. And that's why it's so, for those of us that do have empathy, my thing just fell down. For those of us that do have empathy, it's so shocking when we see these acts of immorality and lack of empathy towards other humans. It's so shocking. So why do I think this is happening? Why are people losing their souls? I don't think that they know that it's possible that they are losing their soul. Maybe if they knew that they were becoming part of the soulless, that they wouldn't do that. Just, or not. I don't know. And I think, too, we may be coming towards the end of times when this is gonna all be more prevalent. And so we kind of need to be aware of the energies that are going on. Let's go back to the authority over demons comes from Jesus Christ. He gives his disciples the authority through him. Now, and I have seen some situations where a person trying to cast out the demons says, I command you. You don't command anything. Jesus commands you. You are commanded through Jesus to leave whatever person or whatever space you're trying to get these out of. But remember that, we have faults as well, and we're not as strong. So we need to rely on prayer and fasting to overcome certain types of demons. And probably you need to have some really good training in that, let me see if there's anything else on here. I wanted to go ahead and do the show tonight because, there was a lot of people that put their answers on the questionnaire that I post on Facebook, and, been kind of waiting for the answer. But the whole answer is human spirits are harder to get rid of simply because they have free will of choice. So you may not be able to fix a haunting. Even if you suspect it's demonic, it still may not be, because human spirits can be just as evil as a demonic. There was a big debate about which was more evil, the demon or the human, and a lot of the literature said that they thought the human was more demonic, more evil than the demonic. So I found that hard to believe, because demons are the original evil, but that's what they were saying. So now, if you have any questions or you want a specific I can't talk tonight, a specific show answered, some questions answered, something that you've been wondering about, feel free to message me on my Facebook page. Okay, that's where I'm looking for these type of things. So just message me on Facebook, and I'll put a show together for you. But anyway, love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Stay safe. Kisses from Kentucky. Bye, y'all.